Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast. The good.
That's okay. That's good. That's all right. That's okay.
Let's do week 15. What's your good for week 15 for the NFC?
Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah.
How could you not be impressed with them yesterday? They versed one of the better teams in the NFC, with the Philadelphia Eagles. They come back they don't have their starting quarterback. Geno Smith is in their lineup. They go out there with Drew Lock, and they come back and win the game in the fourth quarter. And you'd love to see that their rookie wide receiver is the one that caught the touchdown pass. You'd love to see Drew Lock had a pretty solid game. It wasn't a great game, but it was a solid game. Their running game, as per usual, because I just feel like every year Seattle has these running backs who are not great, but they're always putting up stats. But their running game did pretty well. And you know, the part that surprised me, or maybe it shouldn't have, but Jalen Hurts had a bad passing day.
Yeah, he did.
He did not look good as a quarterback. He looked good as a running back, but he did not look good as a quarterback.
Correct.
And you got to be concerned as an Eagle fan. But if you're Seattle, you're fighting for your playoff lives. You need to win multiple games here to lock up a playoff spot. And you did what you needed to do. I thought this was for sure going to be a win for the Eagles, but Seattle outplayed them.
Totally agree. That it was a close game throughout, but that last drive that Drew Lock and that Seattle Seahawks scored with about 28 seconds to go, some people thought, well, that's too much time, and I kind of agreed because the Eagles had all three of their timeouts still, but the defense stepped up. They ended up with an interception. Now on that play, I'm gonna give a olive branch to the Eagles fan. There may have been pass interference on AJ Brown. He was unable to go back to the ball. He was kind of pushed by the defender. He couldn't play the ball. I don't know if that would have stopped the pick, though, to be fair, because that safety was coming out of nowhere to get that ball. But overall, I'm a little concerned for the Eagles right now because they haven't looked up to par the last couple of weeks. You already mentioned Hurts not having a good game. So yeah, I'm with you. That's a good for this week. And Seattle kind of, I thought they would fall out of the playoff race, but they're in the thick of it now. That's 7-7. So
honestly, who isn't at this point?
I know, right? Crazy. Let's go to my good. My good is the Indianapolis Colts. They are, I don't know, man. The Colts are the most. So it's funny because the Eagles lost their offensive coordinator to the Colts as that's their new head coach, Shane, what's his Steichen? I think that's right. I hope I pronounced that right, but sure. But he's their head coach and he is getting the most out of this team that didn't have Jonathan Taylor, has their backup quarterback. Anthony Richardson is out. And they're just they let go of Shaq Leonard, right? Halfway through the season, he's gone, and they're finding ways to win in spite of everything that they have to deal with. They're 8-6. They have an opportunity to win the AFC South, which is mind blowing. I don't know how the Colts are winning. Good game by Minshew. Good defensive game. Obviously, playing Mitch Trubisky helps with that, but I just overall. In the second half, the Steelers didn't score. I don't know. The Colts are in the thick of it, man. I don't get it. I don't understand.
Well, and the funny part is, so I don't know how it's a part of the jorts, but Gardner Minshew wearing jean shorts,
Yeah.
But the Colts haven't had the world's easiest schedule either. Yeah, this week they versed Mitch Trubisky, so that makes it a lot easier to win. But you still, like you said, you got backup quarterback, backup running back, and he's getting production out of all these guys. Their defense was stout. Aren't they leading their division, or is the Jaguars still? I think the Jaguars are still leading their division.
I think they're all. Yeah, I think they're all 8-6 though. So right now, Jaguars are first, Colts second, Texans third, but they're all 8-6.
But here's some wins that the Colts had this year. They beat the Ravens, who
Yep.
look really good.
Yeah.
They beat the Texans. Well, no, the Texans beat them. But yeah, they beat the Ravens, and I thought there was another good team they beat this year. They have a pretty easy schedule, but they've been playing really well. But yeah, they beat the Ravens, and yeah, they beat the Texans. So it's not like they haven't beat some talented teams either. I mean, they got beat by the Jaguars, and they got beat by some other teams, but they're still winning these games. And when you didn't expect a lot out of a team, even those games that they beat that are like against that they beat like the Patriots 10-6 or something like that. That's not games you expect them to win because they weren't looking good with, especially when their rookie quarterback went down.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's so confusing, but you got to be happy for Colts because if you're a Colts fan, all you got to think of is, anything you get this year is just positive. And what are you going to be with Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson back?
Yeah. That's crazy.
So,
yeah. It's so funny too, because I thought the Jaguars would just take a stranglehold of that division for like 2 years. And it looks like, I mean, we'll talk about the Jaguars in a little bit, but it's just like now the Texans are good and the Colts are going to be good. And so now the Jaguars are like, I don't know. It's rough. It's rough for the Jaguars. Speaking of which, you ready to move on to our bad?
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.